Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and I promised this for a long time, and today I'm finally starting my playthrough of Shadows of Brimstone. And I think I will not leave it with one simple mission. I think I will play it kind of campaign-wise, so at least playing 2 or maybe even 3 scenarios. And definitely want to visit Frontier Town. As I mentioned, I will not use the real expansion. I think I will focus on the standard Frontier Town experience, at least for my first visit. And then, let's see how things go. So, let's get started.
And here is our first character, the gunslinger, and I decided to go with a female version of it. She's quick and edge, so she's using the awesome 6-shooter template. So cool. So each token you spend basically adds 2 wounds to a hit, but you can only assign 1 token per hit, but it's still pretty good. Her personal item are the spectacles here. It gives her +1 cunning, which is not bad. She has a cunning of 3 already, and once per turn she may re-roll 1 missed to hit roll. Always cool. Not quite sure how thematic this is, that especially the gunslinger is wearing those spectacles. Maybe it's something from her grandma. Who knows? I will take it anyway. And her starting ability is the quick draw. During the first turn of a fight, you are initiative 10 and may gain +1 shot with a gun. I believe this is something that they have changed in the errata or in the rules or in the FAQ. I'm using the new card here. So yeah, she has basically initiative of 10 in the first round of combat. Always helpful. And of course, she's starting the game with a standard pistol, range 6 and 2 shots. The second character is the Prospector, pretty much a wish from one of my patrons, really thankful for that. And let's call him Al for now. He has a hell lot of abilities. First of all, he may not use guns or tech items. He's the Expert Miner, which pretty much doubles his loot, always nice. And the Death Blow, the heroes to hit rolls of 8+, double the damage rolled for that hit. No, that is only usable for weapons that use the D8 for 2 hit rolls. Apparently, he will start the game with a heavy pickaxe. The melee attacks use the D8 2 hits, and the 6, 7 or 8 count as a critical hit, and the combat hits are +1 damage. We require a strength of 4 or higher to use, which is apparently not a problem for the Prospector Al. And his second item is the Miner's Canteen, which pretty much heals 2d6 wounds or 2d6 sanity once per adventure. His starting special ability is a pretty cool one. So he starts each game with, or each adventure with, 1 free dynamite in the side bag, and he also gains the free attack once per fight. We can pretty much throw a dynamite, which was also the reason why I decided to give him another dynamite as his standard starting side bag item. His starting personal item is also pretty cool. The boot knife. He gets free attack once per fight, and you can throw this. Normally you would not be allowed to use gun items, but this is apparently not a gun item, it's a blade. And you can still throw it 4 spaces away, 1 shot, and it does extra 2 damage. And even though it only gives you 1 shot. That's really, really cool. And I think without further ado, we can get started. I will not go into the rules too detailed because there are already so many great and awesome playthroughs out there. Kalasma, Paul Darcy, Doug Mystic Eye, you name it. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone here, but really great stuff out there already. Of course, I will explain some of the rules in order to, let's say, freshen you up a little bit. And I decided to start with a very first basic mission for Review Darkstone more. I know you have seen this one hundreds of times before, maybe played it yourself hundreds of times, but for me it's also a training exercise. Now, I've never played this game on camera before. I read all the rules, I read through the FAQ, still I will mess things up. And if I mess things up here in this basic mission, I think it's not that big of a deal. So we will not see any legendary or epic threats. We will not see any otherworld encounters in this very first mission, but I definitely shuffled in some of the more advanced enemies, so be surprised. And I think without further ado, let's enjoy some flavor text. Sitting in a saloon one afternoon, you overhear talk of a local mine up in the hills that has a large deposit of darkstone, just waiting for someone to come and claim it. It sounds too good to be true, and it probably is, but the old prospector swears up and down that he would go claim it himself if he were 20 years younger. It's not hard to figure out which mine system he's talking about based on the landmarks he mentions. And though the other patrons he tells just dismiss him, this could be the big score you've been looking for. Yeah, our mission is pretty much to find 2 clues which shows that we have found the deposit. I decided to go with a small deposit. Again, I don't want to bore you too much with this basic mission here. So as soon as we have found our second clue, we will face our, I think it's now a high threat card, and yeah, hopefully we will survive this. Then we move to town, and yeah, as of then, I promise you to do some more interesting missions. Yeah, I think that's all you need to know for now. Let's go into the mine, and it seems the prospector may have changed his mind over a drink or 2 or 3, because here he is, and he was also able to convince the young gunslinger here. She's also keen to find some darkstone, gain some money, and yeah, just killing some vermin down there in the mine. And I think that's a good starting point for our first die roll, because we have to hold back the darkness, of course, something I usually tend to forget. Right now we are still doing okay. Keep in mind we have to roll a 7+ because we are still here on the mine entrance. The darkness starts here. Whenever this darkness marker makes to the mine entrance, we immediately lose this mission. But of course right now I'm looking for a 7 or more. Yeah, that's good enough. Not any doubles, also a good thing. So in this case we are totally fine. And then it's over to our heroes. The young gunslinger Sue has an initiative of 6, which is pretty good, whereas the prospector only has an initiative of 2. So very slow but very strong. So she will go first. Let's roll for her movement. So simply a die. I'm not using my die tower for those single rolls. So that's a 5, which is pretty good. So I think, yeah, let's have her move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's not able to make it to this doorway here, so we have to remain here. And then I think she's going to search, so pretty much scavenge the room. And I think now I'm going to use my beloved dice tower here. She's rolling 3 dice, hoping for at least 1 6. So what did she get? Awesome. So she was able to find something here. So let's draw our first scavenge card. This is a 12 card deck. I believe you shuffle them each time you use it. So let's draw our first card, and this is a small find, and it seems she just found a small scattering of coins stained with blood. So she now earned her first 10 experience points and $50. Awesome. And I'm using the cool tokens that come with the caverns of cinder, and I believe with a derelict ship. So the money is from the derelict ship and the experience points are from the caverns of cinder. Really makes things easy. A lot of other stuff I have to write down, but yeah, in respect to money and experience points, I do have some tokens available. Awesome stuff. Okay, this map tile is scavenged, and unfortunately no one else can do that here again. There is a starting ability for the prospector where it says he can scavenge a room which has already been scavenged, and he would roll an additional die, but as he already gets the double amount of money, I think that's totally fine. So let's roll for his movement here. That's also 5. That's actually pretty good. So keeping those heroes together is never a bad thing. By the way, he's carrying the lantern. So yeah, basically Sue wants to stay close to Al here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And yeah, that's already the end of the round because there's nothing more to search here. So we can move into round 2, which means we have to hold back the darkness. Again, that's only a 4. That's not good enough. So darkness, just advance the first step. If we hit one of those blood spatters, something terrible will happen. And if we hit this green slot here, the growing red, something even more horrific will happen. And yeah, let's move over to our heroes. And even though we are only 1 space away, we still roll a die because we could roll a 1. On a roll on 1, we would gain an additional grid. Always a good thing. That's a 2, so she will move here. Let's do the same. Nothing to do for her. Then she will, of course, search. I nearly forgot that. So let's draw our first mind map card. And here we have a rail tunnel. Okay, that's awesome. So we found our first room, which also means we have to place our first exploration token. So let's find that room. And magically this thing appeared here. So let's place our exploration token. Then we have still Al. He has to roll for his movement. I think he will not move further into this room. I think the idea is to block off that passage here, but maybe he's rolling a 1. Yes, he is. How cool is that? He gets his second grid token, which you can use in order to reroll a lot of dice, which is never a bad thing. And then, of course, he will move right next to her. We can discard this card, and then we come into, let's say, somewhat of an encounter phase. So we will flip this exploration token here, and it's an encounter with only one doorway. So here I was a little bit too quick discarding this card, so we would now roll a die, and I pretty much say, okay, whatever I roll, this is where I place the door. So on the other side we will see the end cap. That's a 1. So here we have the door, and this one will be locked down for good. Let's resolve our encounter. And of course, let's not forget to move our posse marker 1 space ahead. You do that for every new tile you are discovering. And then we are resolving our encounter. And that's a pretty nasty one. The Apocalypse Sigil. Floating in the center of a room, a burning symbol floats in the air. Waves of heat roll over you as you approach it, and the ground beneath it is blackened and cracked. One of our heroes has to do a Spirit 6+ test. The problem is, they both suck. The Prospector Al has a Spirit of 2 and Sue has a Spirit of 2 as well, which means he or she would only roll 2 dice. And I think in this case, I will go with the Prospector because he has 2 grid tokens and we can use this grid to re-roll this test here. So let's see what happens before we do resolve anything else. That's a 4 and a 5, not enough. So he will spend 1 of his grid in order to reroll both of his dice. So let's see. Yes, awesome. That's so cool. Which means he passed this test and we banish the Flaming Sigil. He gains 25 XP and we are allowed to discard this card because otherwise all of those monsters would have more damage, +1, +2 and +3, which is pretty terrible. So yeah, let's give Al his well-deserved 25 experience points. Cool job. Next round we have to hold back the darkness again. That's a 3, definitely not good enough. So bam bam, we hit our first blood splatter, and this means we have to draw our first darkness card. And here we have the Strength of the Void. All void enemies are now +1 defense. Of course, it remains in play. Rest assured, I will forget this ability sooner or later. If I do, I apologize. I will put this card into a card holder, but yeah, I will forget it anyway. But this was okay. I think it could have been worse. Let's move over to our heroes. Again, we start with Sue. So she rolls a 6, which is pretty awesome. And I think I want to continue. Yeah, let's do that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I think she will not explore yet or not scavenge. I think she wants to look into the other room. And here we found yet another room, the Forked Path. I'm not playing with the advanced cards here, the which way one. So there are encounter cards in the deck which you have to resolve when you go for a room. I will not play it this way because I like randomness in this case. So let's find that room and place the exploration token. But we still have our miner of a prospector. So let's hope for a good roll here. That's also a 6. Wow, that's so perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Again, he will stay right next to her. Then we see what's under this exploration token. And we found our first clue. How cool is that? Normally you would also see a gate into the other world, but in this case I think we will treat it as a standard door. So again, I will roll off, and in this case the door is here on the right hand side, which means this passage is locked. Of course, again, I forgot to move our posse marker ahead. Sorry for that. And then we resolve our encounter. And again, we have a totally nasty one. I'm so thirsty. The shambling spirit of a long-dead outlaw lurches out of the shadows, his ghostly flesh rotten and falling off as he stumbles toward you. You can spare some whiskey for an old friend, can you? I'm so thirsty. One random hero must choose to either discard one whiskey token, handing it over to the thirsty spirit, or take d6 plus 2 sanity damage, ignoring willpower, as the spectral outlaw lashes out in anger before fading back into the darkness. None of our heroes has a whiskey, so in this case we have to roll off. 1, 2, 3 is the gunslinger, 4 to 6 is the prospector, and who is it? It's the gunslinger. Her sanity is 12, which is pretty good, but still she takes d6 plus 2 sanity hits, and that's 5. Could have been much, much worse, but still she already lost a good amount of her sanity. Next round we have to hold back the darkness again. That's a 7, good enough. Darkness will not move. And then it's back to our heroes. We start with Sue. That's her movement of 2. That's pretty lame. So yeah, let's simply have her move 1, 2 spaces here. I think she wants to scavenge again. Let's roll some dice here. No, that was not good enough. I think she will not bother and not spend any grid for this. Not that important. Then it's our prospector Al. That's a 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Apparently he also wants to scavenge, and oh, he's also not lucky. That's really lame, and that's already the end of the round. So again, we have to hold back the darkness. That's a 12. It's pairs, and good thing is, first of all, the darkness will not move. The second thing is that a 6 is the only good result on this depth event chart. This place is horrible and unforgiving, but you're not about to give up without a fight. Each hero may immediately heal d6 wound sanity, any mix, or recover 1 grid. KO heroes may immediately recover, rolling for the injury and healing. This is really an awesome, awesome result. Of course, Al will totally go for another grid, whereas Sue wants to heal some of her insanity. That's a 5. How cool is that? So she's fully healed. Way to go, Sue. Awesome job. And yeah, let's do our turn. Again, we start with Sue here. That's a 3. I think a 3 is actually pretty good. 1, 2, yeah. 1, 2, and 3. She will totally look into the other room. And wow, this is insane. Another room, the vault. So wow, that's really cool. We are not losing any time moving through corridors and things like that. We are really moving from room to room. And of course, this was the very last tile in a huge stack of room tiles that ship with the game. Yeah, let's place our exploration token accordingly. And yeah, then we still have Al, who also wants to move. So let's roll his die. That's a 4, nothing special here. 1 and 2. I think he can still scavenge. He cannot scavenge in a room with an unrevealed exploration token, but he can do that here. Right now he's considered to be on both of those rooms. So yeah, let's simply roll those dice. Yes, he was able to find something. So again, we will shuffle those scavenge cards like crazy. But unfortunately, nothing is here. The room appears to have nothing of value, nothing to find. But at least he scores an additional 10 experience points. Okay, next we have to see what's under this exploration token. But I think again, I forgot to move our posse marker here. Now we can have a look at here. Okay, we have pretty much found the small deposit, because this is our second clue. We ignore everything else on this token, so we don't see any encounters. We are not placing any doors, as this room doesn't have any exits whatsoever. And yeah, finally we will be able to see a fight, but that's already the toughest fight there is, because we have to resolve a high threat card. Normally that's a deck for 5 to 6 heroes, but it's our ultimate goal, though those guys are protecting the small darkstone deposit. And what do we have here? Wow, that's certainly something. 6 stranglers and 12 void spiders. So I'm pretty sure we will run out of space here relatively soon. But yeah, let's spawn some enemies. And we will start with a slow stranglers here. And I think we will always start here. We will do that in check checkboard pattern, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this counts as a space. Does it? Yeah, it counts. Let's place a token here. Those guys go here, those guys go here, those guys go here. Those are our 6 stranglers. Next we would place our 12 void spiders, and they will continue here, I believe. Again, we will do that in a checkboard pattern, or we will continue to do that in a checkboard pattern. And yeah, we will definitely run out of space relatively soon. I think there will not be much movement in this one because they're already quite next to us. But the good thing is we will then start again at the back row again. So those guys go here, but they will move anyway, so I think they will make it to us no matter what. But again, the good thing is we are really in a good position here. And I think, yeah, we have to place the next one here. So yeah, that's pretty much the setup of our fight. Pretty crowded room. So let's have a quick look at our enemies here. We have the void spiders, and keep in mind we have the strength of the void here. I think I will place the card right next here. So they have now a defense of 1, which is pretty bad, to be honest, because normally they don't have any defense whatsoever, and now they do defend. It's definitely a downer. They are moving at 8. They have an escape ability of 4+, so when we want to escape, apparently their melee value is a 4+, so they hit on a 4+, they will roll 2 dice. For each hit they do, they will inflict 2 damage. We don't see any elite abilities, and they also don't start with any abilities whatsoever other than the strength of the void. Next we have the Stranglers. They hit on a 3+, which is definitely something. They are a little bit slow, but still fast enough. They roll 4 combat dice, and each combat dice hits on a 3+. Good thing is they only hit with, or their damage is only a 1. But the problem is they ensnare, which means every 6 counts as 3 hits. They do have a defense of 2. They have also 3 health, but no elite abilities whatsoever. But I think I will call it for today, because this will be a pretty lengthy fight, and so with the next episode I should be able to complete this fight. I may lose, but I also may be able to defeat all those guys, and then I can also do the town stuff in my next episode, and maybe then already prepare, let's say, the next mission with those 2 fellas. I hope that's fine for you. Hope to see you soon in one of my other videos, and yeah, until then, bye bye.